Friends, it's said that cannibals eat humans to survive. But what happens when human meat becomes so popular that even an ordinary person starts eating it with great delight? That's exactly what happens in a meat shop in France. Outside this humble shop in the middle of the city, a huge crowd gathers. The shop owner sells a very special kind of meat, so delicious that customers are willing to pay any price for it. Days slowly pass, but neither the crowd at the shop nor the popularity of the meat diminishes. The taste of this meat was such that anyone who tried it once couldn't forget it. One day a customer asked the shop owner, Vincent, what kind of meat this was. Vincent lied to him, saying it was Iranian pork, which very few people knew about. As soon as this was heard, the news spread like wildfire in the surrounding area, and now the crowd at the shop grew even larger. The crowd was so immense that it caused traffic jams on the streets. Just a few days prior, these people were barely making ends meet, trying to keep their shop running. But today, they're earning millions. On the other hand, all the big-name meat shops went bust because this shop gained popularity so quickly that all the customers were flocking here. But it wasn't always like this. Until recently, not even a fly would visit Vincent's shop. Vincent and his wife, Sophie, used to run this shop. Their expenses were barely met. But one day, suddenly, some people came to their shop, vandalized it, and threw animal blood on Sophie. These were vegans, people who don't eat meat and have a deep hatred for those who eat or sell it. These vegans often came to Vincent's shop and caused damage, slowly pushing Vincent's failing shop further into debt. One day, this couple visits their friends Mark and Stephanie's house. Like Vincent, Mark also ran a meat shop, but his business was doing very well. His condition was nothing like Vincent's. And because of this money problem, the distance between Vincent and Sophie was also growing. Sophie even asks Vincent for a divorce, but Vincent tells her to calm down. Meanwhile, his gaze falls on a vegan activist who had attacked his shop a few days ago. To teach him a lesson, Vincent wanted to hit him with his car and knock him down, but as soon as he puts his car in reverse, the vegan ends up under his car and is crushed to death. Vincent, in fear, was about to call the police for help, but Sophie stops him, saying they had committed murder and no one would believe them. Sophie gets an idea. Why not cut up his body and throw the pieces in different places? Sophie had learned this from watching a serial killer. She even thinks of mixing his meat with pork and selling it. But Vincent flatly refuses to do so. Anyway, after this, they both bring his body into their shop. To dispose of it, Vincent somehow gathers his courage and cuts his body into small pieces. After hours of grinding and cutting the body, Vincent falls asleep. The next morning, when he wakes up, he sees that the ground meat he had prepared is gone. He gets very panicked. But before he could think anything else, a customer comes to his shop and asks for the same meat she had bought last night. It turns out that while Vincent was cutting the body at night, Sophie secretly stole a part of the activist's body, cut it, mixed it with pork, and sold it to this lady who loved it very much. Vincent refuses to give the lady that meat, but the lady couldn't forget its taste. The customer insists on getting that meat. Then, Sophie also convinces Vincent. The lady asks him what kind of meat it is that tastes so good. Then Vincent tells her it's Iranian pork, which very few people in the world know about, and very few people can prepare it. After the customer leaves, Vincent asks her, "What are you doing? Are you going to sell human meat at your shop?" Sophie then tells him that this is the best way to dispose of the activist's body, so people won't suspect even 1%. Vincent thinks Sophie has gone crazy, so he goes to dispose of the activist's body. But then another customer comes to their shop. He tells them, "I want that Iranian pork meat that a lady took a while ago. Its taste is amazing." Now, slowly, that meat became famous under the name Iranian pork, and they both earned a lot of money by selling it. Vincent still doesn't understand what's so special about this meat that people like it so much. One night, he also tries this meat, and he feels it's the best meat of his life. Sophie tells him that the person they killed was a vegan. These people don't eat meat or anything. They only eat vegetarian things. Maybe that's why his meat was so tasty. Sophie asks Vincent, "Why don't we kill vegans and sell their meat in our shop? People like it, and this way we can earn a lot of money." But Vincent refuses to do so because for money, Sophie was selling her humanity. Anyway, the next day, their daughter Chloe brings her boyfriend Lucas to meet them. Vincent was eagerly waiting for this day. That day, he cooked the food himself. But as soon as he serves Lucas, Lucas refuses to eat the dinner he prepared. Vincent realizes that Lucas is also a vegan. Seeing him, Chloe also refuses to eat, and after this, they both leave. Seeing this, Vincent's blood boils, because this boy ruined Vincent's entire day's hard work in 1 minute. Now Vincent realizes that maybe Sophie was right. These vegans shouldn't exist in the world. Anyway, after this, they both go to a vegan restaurant and choose the owner of that vegan restaurant to kill. Their plan was very simple. First, kill that man, and then cut him into pieces, grind them, and sell them at their shop. Now, seeing an opportunity, Vincent takes a meat-cutting knife and follows that man. But as soon as he goes near him, he starts trembling with fear. He didn't have the courage to strike him with the knife. After this, he leaves without killing them. Sophie says, "We need a little more practice to kill." Anyway, the next day they both go among the vegan people and start pretending to be vegans. Among so many people, they were looking for their weakest prey. Then they meet a very thin man there who praises them for their good feelings towards animals. Now Sophie had found her target. They call him to the parking area to talk to him. They start thinking about different ways to kill him. But then, once again, their plan gets ruined when they see that the thin man has come with his friends. Vincent immediately hides his knife and starts to leave. But those people stop them and say, "Tonight, we are going to attack a meat shop. You guys also come with us." Now, out of fear of being caught, they agree to go with them. But when Vincent gets there, he realizes that the shop they are going to break into is none other than his friend Mark's shop. Vincent was already jealous of his thriving business. All of them go into his shop and vandalize it. Now, doing this also gives Vincent some peace because now he was not alone who had suffered losses. Anyway, when these people are talking among themselves, arguments start breaking out, and Vincent leaves Sophie alone and walks away. Here, seeing Sophie alone, a boy flirts with her. He talks to Sophie, and Sophie is quickly impressed by him. Everything was going well between them, but then Sophie realizes that the boy is a vegan. The boy comes to drop Sophie off at her house. Then Sophie, on the pretext of kissing him, bites his mouth, which causes bleeding from his mouth. Sophie asks him to come to her house for first aid. Then the boy also agrees. Now Sophie quickly goes inside and tells Vincent, "We've found our prey." Vincent just had to kill him. But then, once again, his hands start trembling, and he flatly refuses to do so. Sophie tells him, "You're such a coward. You have no courage at all. Now you see, if you don't kill him tonight, I'll sleep with him tonight." But even after hearing all this, Vincent doesn't gather courage. He feels that Sophie is saying all this to provoke him, but Sophie actually goes to sleep with him. Now seeing this, Vincent gets completely enraged. Vincent brutally kills that boy there. Anyway, the next day, Sophie receives a call from Stephanie, who tells her about the incident of the previous night. Last night, Vincent had caused the most damage in her shop, but they pretended as if they knew nothing. A policeman there wanted to talk to Vincent alone. Vincent gets terribly scared that he might have found something out, but from that policeman, they learn that he knows nothing about it. That day, they sell tons of human meat to customers. There was a very long line to buy that meat, due to which all the meat runs out very quickly. After this, whenever this couple needed meat, they would go hunting and kill someone, and in this way, they started killing people on a daily basis. Their business was completely booming, and in no time, even the biggest meat factories were on the verge of closing down. Now, within a few days, Vincent also increased the price of the meat. But still, the crowd of people was not decreasing. Everything seemed perfectly fine. One day, Mark also took a bite of that meat. In the first bite, Mark also became a fan of his meat. But while chewing, something got stuck in his mouth. Stephanie, who used to be a nurse, recognizes it as a pacemaker, which is implanted in heart patients. Stephanie starts asking, "How did all these things get into your meat?" But then Vincent remembers that one of their victims was a heart patient. Now, since these two were competitors, they start fighting, and in the heat of the moment, they get into a physical altercation. In anger, Vincent bites Mark's ear, and from that day on, their fake friendship breaks. But Vincent's act was going to be harmful to him later on. Anyway, after this, the next day, they both go to a vegan festival. After eating human flesh, Vincent had completely become a psychopath. He would just keep thinking about meat all day. There, his gaze falls on a child. Seeing the child's body, he felt like eating him. But he somehow controlled himself and started feeling disgusted with himself. He was about to leave when he meets Lucas there. Lucas was completely shocked to see butcher shop owners at a vegan festival. Now arguments start breaking out between Lucas and Vincent over this. A man sitting there was listening to all their conversations. This is the same man with whom Vincent had teamed up to break Mark's shop. He gets very angry about the fact that even after being a butcher, Vincent pretended to be a vegan. That very night when Vincent was cutting a human body, someone comes to his door. Vincent sees that it's the policeman. He doesn't let him in out of fear. But then his gaze falls on his dog, who was coming towards the door with a human hand. But then the policeman leaves, and in this way, Vincent barely escaped being caught today. Anyway, after this, Sophie and Vincent were talking. But then Lucas comes there, who had come to apologize to Vincent for the vegan festival. He says that he is very stressed due to the disappearance of his vegan friends. But Sophie, who was now fearless of anything, tells Vincent to make Lucas their next prey. Vincent quickly realizes that Sophie is an even bigger psychopath than him, so he quickly throws Lucas out of his house. The very next day, without telling Sophie, Vincent told his upcoming customers that they had stopped selling Iranian pork. Now, hearing this, some of their customers got very angry because they had been waiting for their turn for several hours. Soon all the customers left their shop. Now Sophie started fighting with Vincent. Why did you do that? Then Vincent left without telling Sophie anything. As soon as he left, the same vegan people came to Sophie, who wanted revenge on Vincent for his deception. So they catch Sophie and beat her very badly. These were thugs disguised as vegans. Now, when Vincent returns to his shop, he sees their sister there. He immediately goes inside the shop and sees that those thugs are about to kill his wife. He doesn't waste any time attacking and immediately kills two of them. But then one of them hangs Vincent on a meat hook. But then, at the last moment, Sophie throws a hook and hits him in the eye, killing him too. At the end of the movie, we are shown that Vincent and Sophie were very soon caught through Mark and Stephanie. Actually, those people had told the police about Vincent. Then the police also found evidence of this. Vincent and Sophie had together committed a total of 30 murders, for which they are sentenced to death by hanging. This is where the movie ends. That's quite the wild ride. If you're into dark humor and unique thrillers, this one sounds like it delivers. Let your friends know about this bizarre tale if they're looking for something out of the ordinary to watch.